Hi everybody. Sorry, hold on. Let me change my audio while I am talking because okay. Sorry. Hi everybody. This is Selfie Queen Cindy. I hope that's better. I noticed the audio was whatever. Um as you can see, I didn't do my intro. Um I'm sorry if my overlay is a little loud and a little distracting. Uh I'm not trying to make light of this. I just thought it was important uh, to talk about abuse uh, in all its forms. Okay, before I start, just wanted to put this up really quickly. This is the national number for DV, domestic violence. Um, so please, I want to have it up. I will put it up every so often. If you know anyone who's experiencing it, if you happen to be going through it yourself, please, there is no shame in dealing with TV in all its forms. Okay. Domestic violence is not only abuse that you can see, it is not only physical abuse, it is also psychological abuse, it is also emotional abuse, it is also verbal abuse. Uh, there's so many different forms of abuse, and it is not only geared towards one sex, one gender. Um, Men experience abuse, domestic violence. Um, as we see now, a very, very public case, Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. That is a very publicized case of domestic violence against a man. So it happens. It happens in same sex relationships, to women, to men. It happens in every form of relationships. It can also happen in non intimate relationships, meaning family, parent to child, child to parent, siblings, aunts to child. It can happen. Any relationship that's between two people can be abusive. Domestic abuse is usually a term used when two people know each other. It usually correlates to a intimate relationship, but it does not always have to. Okay, there's been many cases of domestic violence between a child and a parent. So this recording is, of course, the whole thing is a trigger warning. Okay, the entire thing. So please be aware of that. Uh, yeah, this whole thing. Okay, is trigger warning. Um, and I'm not doing this because everyone is talking about it. That is not my thing. I never cover trending topics, as I've said 1,000 times. That is not what I do. I have spoken about um, domestic violence. I've spoken about a lot of these substance abuse, all these things, homelessness, and there's just a lot of stuff going on online. Um, it's come close to home with the road hogs, right? We're seeing a lot of back and forth. We're seeing a marriage implode, a family crumble online, which is unfortunate. I honestly wish it wasn't happening online. That is not something that I find entertaining. Some people do think it's entertainment, and there are others that are speaking about it because it is truly horrifying to them. They are trying to get the story out for awareness, and there are many creators covering it with sensitivity, with compassion, with empathy, and with objectivity. And I commend those creators that are doing that. Um, this affected me, this one situation, very much, and I know a lot of people that I've spoken to that are triggered by this situation. Um, some people are triggered by the yelling, the language, the way the videos that they heard, the way he was speaking to her. It triggered people. There are many of us that may have experienced some forms of abuse in our lives, whether it was done to us or done to someone close to us. Uh, Speaking from experience, I witnessed my mother in many, many abusive relationships with many men. The only one who was never abusive to my mother was my father. And because my father was quote unquote too nice for my mother, she left my dad. And every relationship she had after that was abusive to her in every sense of the word. I've witnessed my mother in severe, severe cases of physical uh, abuse while she was pregnant. I've witnessed my mother being knocked out unconscious. I've witnessed my mother being punched through my bedroom door and subsequently going into labor because she was nearly 9 months pregnant, knocked a tooth out when he punched her through the door, and she went into labor, and my brother was born out of that incident of domestic violence. So I've seen it very, very close to me. Um, whew, it affects me. I have, like I've said a million times, I have 9 brothers. My brothers are not abusive. Uh, I have 5 sons, and I've raised my sons to have the utmost respect, not only for their elders, but for women, for people in general. Um, and I would not tolerate any of my sons putting their hands on anyone else, not even each other. That was not a thing that was allowed in my house. Of course, they fought, but hitting each other, nah, we ain't doing that. Um, so that's so important to me that nobody hit. I didn't ever hit my children. And again, I'm not telling anybody else what to do in their home with their children. That is not my job or my place. But I never hit my children because I felt like if I had to hit my children to get them to behave, how can I teach them not to hit? Right? When my solution to try to get them to behave was to hit them. So that was always my kind of mentality because, again, I did witness severe abuse that my mother experienced, and it kind of set a tone for me for life. And because my mother was also abusive to me and my brothers, physically, it there was always an inherent fear in me that I had the same propensity for that violence or to harm my children. And I kept that up front at all times. And I was always definitely afraid that if I ever spanked my sons, I may go too far. And that fear always kept me from even spanking my sons. Never, not once have I lifted a hand to any of my sons, nor has my husband. I don't play that. I don't play that. Again, that's just me. I'm not telling any other parent what to do with their children. I was raised with corporal punishment, so was my mother, so on and so forth. There was just a lot of cycles that I repeated, the substance abuse and all of that. And that was one cycle I did not want to perpetuate with my children. And hopefully in the future, if and when my children have children, that will not be a solution for them. But again, I can't tell them how to parent their kids. I just hope they will not do that shit in front of me. We're going to have an issue. Um, but I just felt that it was important. I did see a few videos and streams talking about uh, abuse, domestic violence, I wanted to speak about just abuse in general, and that it's not okay under any circumstance. There's never an excuse, a rationale, a reason to be abusive. Talking to someone, demeaning someone, belittling someone, putting them down, browbeating someone, demeaning someone day after day after day is abusive. It makes a person feel like they are less than human, and it is a way to control someone else, to keep them in your clutches, so to speak, and it is very, very manipulative and very abusive. And I think that it shows a lack of respect for the person you're speaking to, but it also shows that you lack something within yourself. When you are abusive to others, you are definitely lacking something within yourself. That is a mask. That is a tough guy or tough girl act that you're putting on to mask the insecurities that you feel within yourself. A person that is truly secure in themselves would never, ever have to demean, belittle, put someone down, try to intimidate someone verbally, physically, financially. There is also such a thing as financial abuse, keeping someone financially dependent on you, controlling all the money so that they really have no alternative but to stay, is also a form of abuse. There are so many. Um, and I just think if you are aware of abuse, say something. Even if you do it anonymously, there are ways to report it. Um, I'm not going to sit here and say that abuse is done by men. As I said, I have 9 brothers, I have 5 sons. I was raised with all boys, and I have seen women that are very, very manipulative and have been very abusive to men, knowing that these men would never raise a hand to them to defend themselves, and they have taken advantage of that and would put their hands on them. They would bait them into trying to get a rise out of said men. I'm not going to say who the men were, but I've seen it firsthand for myself. Women that would pretend that they were being abused. There was actually a video on YouTube, a very, very publicized story. Sorry, excuse me 1 second. Somebody's calling me. Hold on. Sorry, guys. You know how that goes, right? So there's a story here on YouTube where a woman. Let me actually see if I could share my screen. Hold on, guys. Might as well show you guys. Sorry, guys. I don't want to have you have dead air. This is actually something I want to show you first. I'm telling you, I am a fan of Dina Danzig, and she also made a video that you guys may want to check out. But this was her community post, and she wrote, "Let me be clear, my video today." Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Guys, I am so sorry. I told him I was live. Like, listen, this is an everyday thing. Anyway, I'm so sorry, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me woosa. See, I'm telling you. Okay, Dina Danzig said, let me be clear, my video today was inspired by comments on various chats. And in quotation marks, she put, it is an abuse if there are no marks, end quotation marks. Quotation marks. All couples fight like this. Abuse isn't yelling. And she says, yes, the fuck it is. No, the fuck they don't. Yes, the fuck it is. Thanks. So she was responding. So the first one says, it isn't abuse if there are no marks. Yes, the fuck it is. All couples fight like this. No, the fuck they don't. Abuse isn't yelling. Yes, the fuck it is. I'm not laughing at abuse. I'm just laughing at, that's right, Dina. Tell them. That's right. I think it's crazy. If no marks, there is so much abuse that uh don't show marks. You know what I mean? Not everything is visible. Abuse isn't always visible or seen. Let's see. Woman caught on elevator. Sorry. Um. Sorry, guys. I'm telling you, I'm a hot mess, right? Until I learn to do edits and stop being an AO. Okay. So this was the woman. Woman hits herself to frame husband for domestic violence. Okay, this is real. This was put up 3 years ago. So let's see. Sorry, of course, there's an ad, so I'm going to mute it. Okay.
And deceit. From the outside, they looked like a happily married couple, but when Faisal had doubts and turned to a lawyer, his wife took their breakup to the next level.
You're about to witness one of the most audacious attempts by a wife to frame her husband.
Okay, I'm just stopping at every 30 seconds because I do not want to get struck. So you're going to see, trigger warning, you're going to see this woman, her attempt to frame her husband for domestic violence. And I will explain why I'm showing this after this. Okie dokie. And I just noticed I spelled woman wrong. Do not come for me. I just noticed that. Whatever. All right? All right.
For domestic violence.
She's dangerous. Very dangerous.
Watch how this woman astonishingly punches herself in the face. Not once, but twice. Later telling police her husband bashed her.
Split my life upside down. Not the guy who I used to be anymore.
This is a story about temptation and treachery, a lover and a liar, where romance makes way for revenge with catastrophic consequences.
Well, I haven't actually heard of a scenario such as this, inflicting injury upon themselves in order to set up a...
He has never heard of this. I have. In my personal life, I have heard of lots of women who will inflict injuries upon themselves in an effort to get back at their husband, their boyfriends, maybe who have broken up with them, if they've cheated on them, different types of scenarios. It's always to get revenge, to be vindictive, to be malicious. And some women, or this is not only women who do this, but these right here is a woman doing this. People who do this do not understand the seriousness, or maybe they do, they just don't care. This can cause people, first of all, jail, right? And worse. I've shared the story of my cousin who lost his life behind domestic violence, okay? It's serious.
Scenario which results in someone else being charged.
If love is blind, then Faisal only had eyes for Asma.
She presented herself like she's a perfect girl on the planet.
He met her through an online Muslim dating site and proposed soon after leaving Western Sydney to meet Asma in Morocco. However, while Faisal was hoping to return to Aussie with a life partner, he now believes Asma didn't share that dream.
She's a greedy person. She's materialistic.
The two officially tied the knot here last year, and Faisal was hardly frugal in making his new bride feel at home. He worked 2 jobs, spending everything he earned on his wife, from Gucci tracksuits to leather jackets, rings, necklaces, and shoes, holidays, and fine dining, parties in Morocco.
This is crazy. This is crazy. Money. Money is like the root of all evil, man. I swear to God.
And money wired back to Asma's family. A fawning Faisal says he was a good provider.
All this traveling, going back and forth twice and 3 times, and doing all the functions, receptions, engagement, jewelry, stuff, probably under 200,000.
But Faisal says they were constantly arguing, and in April, he walked into an incredible sting when he came home from a night shift at Woolies.
Yeah, it was all prepared for me, the whole plan scene.
The unit had been ransacked.
Look at
Faisal
this.
says Asma was waiting for him with this disturbing message.
I entered and she just said to me that you think you're smart and you're talking to lawyers about me. Now see what I do to you. And she just ran.
CCTV captures the bizarre incident followed.
Okay, trigger warning, guys, right? You go out to see what she's about to do in the elevator.
Asma runs from the apartment and into the lift. She presses the button. Takes a few moments before the incredible Asma attack. She gives herself 2 uppercuts to her face and clutches her cheek. She then checks her handiwork in the mirror. Seemingly satisfied with her self-inflicted punishment, Asma eagerly waits for the lift door to open. She takes off down the hall and into the street to call police. Oblivious to what his wife had cooked up and concerned for her safety, Faisal also went to the police, where he was arrested and charged with assault. If convicted, he faced up to 7 years behind bars.
Wow.
And
Wow. Wow. That makes me so angry.
didn't know that she went to that. She's going to go to that extent, go to the police, and forget everything what I did for her, and just ruin my life.
In a follow-up sucker punch, Faisal says the police unwittingly helped Asma steal his things, which she had packed into these suitcases while he was being held in the station. More importantly, Faisal's freedom was also about to be taken.
Look at that. So while he's in jail, she has the police escort her back, right? And that's the issue with that. The police do not know what is hers, what is his. So they escort her to the house where she cleans him out, right? To add insult to injury.
Did you ever harm Asma? I really loved her.
Faisal spent 20 grand on a lawyer and trawled through hours of CCTV to find his get-out-of-jail card.
And once I saw this, I felt relieved that now the justice will be served.
New South Wales police dropped the assault charges, but never charged his estranged wife for making a false accusation, an offence which also carries a jail term of up to 7 years.
Question is, why?
Wow. Okay. So they dropped the charges against him, but she isn't charged when the least they should have done is charged her with filing a false report, right? He was taken to jail unjustly, and the minimum she should have gotten, and this is a thing that happens too with women that are super manipulative, good looking, right? Fit women, they'll go in and play the wilting flower. And I don't mean any disrespect. I'm not against women. I am a woman. But as a woman, I have seen it. I'm telling you, I watched T-Spiracy's 2 last videos, and what she said made so much sense. I am a recovering addict. I know how manipulative I was in my active addiction to get what I wanted. As she also said, I've done so much work on myself. Therapy, meetings, groups, everything. Parenting, relapse prevention, I've done so much therapy to get to know who I am, and so much work that I've done on myself. These people, they are so manipulative. Some of them are so manipulative that they believe the shit that comes out of their mouths. They convince themselves that they are the victims. So it's important because things like this have now shaped my views. I can't believe everyone who makes a claim of abuse of such things, because I know that people manipulate things, that people lie, that people twist things. And that's a sad thing, and it really makes it harder for true victims and true survivors of abuse, of domestic violence, of SA, of all these things, when people misuse the system and pretend and use this stuff as weapons to harm somebody for their own agendas, for their own vendettas. They don't realize the fucking impact they're having, not only on their family, on whoever they're aiming this at, but at the fucking society and the whole world, essentially. And when people have children in these situations, holy shit, that angers me to a level I can't even put into words. Why is no one thinking about the children? Selfish. That is selfishness at its best. This woman didn't have any children, thankfully. You know what I mean? But why? I can't understand people not thinking of their children. Your children should be your first priority always, especially if the person that this is happening with is the other parent. Your children deserve better than that. You know, if you're fighting with your child, I'm sorry if you can hear that in the background. He just opened the door. Like, my husband just be doing the most because he wants me to feed him. God forbid I cook dinner. He should, he should serve himself. But God forbid, God forbid. Anyway, sorry guys. I just think people forget the children, and being so selfish and not thinking about the children just really upsets me. Um, I just wanted to record a video to basically say I'm against abuse in all forms. All forms. This isn't directed at any one person. It's just because of what's been going on lately online. As I said, we've seen it in this community. We've seen it with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. And I just felt that I wanted to make my position known. Okay, I do not stand with any form of abuse, physical, verbal, emotional, and that goes for everyone. Okay, remember that there are always three sides to a story as well, right? I'm gonna use his and hers to make it easier to understand, right? There's three sides to a story: her side, his side, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. And it's even harder if the people involved do not know what the truth is, much less know how to spell truth. Okay, people that have lied consistently and constantly, you have to be very, very careful. And I think that the children are the victims, and maybe the only true victims in any situation that way, such as that. And maybe this video doesn't make any sense. I hope it did. I just think we have to be more aware when there's children involved, and stop being so selfish and think about what we're doing to children, especially your own children. Your own children. Put the children first. Okay? That is the most important thing. Do not put your wants and your needs above your children. They have no choice in the matter. They have no choice. And that hurts me more than anything. Because when my mother was in these situations, we had no say in these situations. My mother just kept bringing in these abusive men, And we had no say, like, hey, we don't want this next guy in our house. Just a new guy was moving, and next thing I know, he's beating on my mother. You have to be aware as parents of who you bring around your children. If you get in a relationship, date the person. Get to know the person before you bring them around your children, and definitely before you decide to cohabitate with the person. Let me tell you something. People will always, always put their best foot forward. You really never know a person till you live with them. And maybe sometimes not even after that. For a few months, it's honeymoon phase, right? Until they take off their girdle, so to speak, and the belly pops out. You know how that goes, right? So you have to be very aware when you have children. You have a fucking responsibility to your children to keep them safe at all times. And I just wanted to say, abuse is not always visible. You can't always see abuse. And we have to remember that. Okay? Talking to people, talking down to people, yelling at people, demeaning people, that is abusive behavior. You do not have the right to talk to someone else that way. You do not. You have to learn to control yourself. If you can't take anger management, do some fucking self-reflecting. Sorry about the cursing. Do some self-reflecting. Okay, when you are always pointing the finger at somebody else, that's you have to look at yourself, because not everybody else is the reason for your shortcomings. No, I'm very aware. My shortcomings come from within me. And the only person that can fix that is me. I'm the only person that can work on Cindy. I cannot blame anyone else for if I'm out of control, right? If I want to verbally attack somebody else, I can't blame them because I don't know how to control myself and I don't know how to communicate without putting them down, because that'll make me feel better. That is my issue. That is a me problem. You have to work on yourself. You have to look within. Hurt people. Seriously. It's not an excuse, though, because you're a hurt and broken person does not give you the right to hurt other people or to take it out on other people. Work on fixing what is broken within you. Until you work on fixing what is broken within you, you will not be able to have a successful relationship with no one. Not with your children, not with a significant other, not with friends, not with immediate family, not with extended family. This will be a pattern of behavior. This will be the way you think that you can communicate with everyone around you until someone says, hey, this shit is unacceptable. You do not have the right to treat and talk to people this way. If you see abuse, if you witness it, pull that card. Hey, don't fucking talk to them like that. Don't do that. Each one of us can make a difference. If you're afraid of the repercussions, anonymously do that shit. So, okay. That's all I wanted to say. Um, thank you guys for listening. Again, we can each make a difference, guys. We can each make a difference. Abuse is not okay, man. It's not okay. There's no excuse. There's not, oh, he made me do this. Oh, she made me do this. Oh, she pushed me to do this. Oh, it was all his fault. He controlled me. She baited me. Oh my God, but he, but they. No. You are responsible for you. You and only you. Cut the shit. Bye, guys.